Hi, everyone. Welcome. Come on into the yard. Oh, yes, this is Sharon DeCosta here, your gracious host, and welcome to my platform, My Journey to Building a Better You. You are in for a treat today. I'm so pleased and proud and humbled to stand before you or sit before you on this day because I have a wonderful show for you in store. If this is your first time joining me, of course, I say welcome once again. I always try to say that because I never know when people are going to come in and join the yard. But welcome if this is your first time. Again, this is the My Journey to Building a Better You platform. This show is designed for anyone that desires to be empowered, informed, inspired, motivated. This show is designated and designed for you. And then, of course, if you are returning, hello, thank you for joining me once again. In order to be privy to the shows that I have as I come out with them each weekend, you have to be able to subscribe. So make sure wherever you see that subscribe button on the screen that you go ahead and click it. And of course, I always say share, like, tell a friend that Sharon DeCosta's in the yard, y'all, because I'm not going to be here for long. But I hope that this show will be a blessing to you, as I know it will be to me, has always been to me, of course. And I just ask that you stick and stay, get comfortable and relax. Now, again, Building a Better You, My Journey to Building a Better You, that is the name of this podcast, of this platform. That name is actually spun off from my nonprofit organization called Building a Better You. Building a Better You. Building a Better You is a personal development life skills fashion program where I use fashion as a platform to build self-esteem, confidence, character, leadership skills, explore different standards of beauty, promote a healthy body image, and of course, overall improve our girls' self-esteem. I work with girls as young as 12 up to 21. And then what I offer are 4 development workshop series, programs, if you would, that fall underneath the Building a Better You title. Again, Building a Better You has been around for some years. We serve girls from all walks of life. The topics that are covered with Building a Better You, they range. It's a wide range of topics, anywhere, of course, from self-esteem, confidence building, values, goals, financial literacy. Let's see, so many. Communication skills, decision-making skills, peer pressure, body types. Girls learn their body type. They learn how to dress their body respectfully. They learn how to dress their body according to their body type, understanding that everyone cannot wear everything. Just because it looks good on the mannequin or in a magazine doesn't necessarily it will look good on us. So it's important that we learn how to dress our bodies respectfully. And then, of course, we have the makeover sessions, and that's always fun for the girls, the young ladies that have gone through the program. I'm really excited because, the program, like I said, it starts at 12. I start serving girls as young as 12. When I first started, the girls were a little younger. I think I actually had girls that were young as 10 or 11, if you would, and they have grown over the years, and they're actually, a lot of them are adult. They're grown women that have their own lives going on. Some are in school, some are working, some have their own families, and I still have contact with them, y'all. I'm really super, thankful to God for the opportunity to still have these relationships with some of these young ladies. And this past spring, because we're now in summer, can you believe it? We're in summer. But this past spring, I launched my first book, my memoir, entitled My Journey to Building a Better You. I always try to show the cover. And actually, the book is actually on Amazon.com. And then you can always go to the website. I'll put my website information. I get the emails afterwards saying, Sharon, you said you're going to put your contact information and you never do. And it's like I get so excited and full when I'm in the yard. So sometimes I forget. So I have to make a mental note to put my contact information across the screen. But the program has served girls, again, like I said, from all walks of life. I launched my memoir. The memoir talks about my journey, because becoming a better person doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's a journey. So the book shares some of my ins and outs, some of my challenges, some of my triumphs, some of my successes, some of my setbacks. I dare not say failures because it's never failure in trying something, but setbacks or my pauses in life. And I share some of that, just some. The book is only about 100 pages. So I try to put the relevant information in the book, the memoir, and I share that, and I hope that you will go out and purchase it. Again, you can go to Amazon.com. Again, it is My Journey to Building a Better You, my personal memoir. And then also this past spring, I was super excited to launch an elevated version of the program workbook series. There are 4 development workbook series that I launched. And again, all about me, that's the self-esteem, that's the financial literacy, the goal setting. Then we have the my choice, that's the decision-making skills, the peer pressure. Um, uh, let's see, you have the my body is important, that's the, nutrition, the hygiene, the body image, exploring the different standards of beauty, exploring how social media impacts our young people and women in general. And then, of course, the fashion my way. So the real neat thing about these workbooks is that some of the young ladies that have gone through the program actually contributed content to these workbooks. So these workbooks are fabulous, y'all. You have to go out and purchase them. You can go to the website for myjourneytobuildingabetteryou.com and do so. So I'll put that information on the screen in just a moment. So yeah, these are all the wonderful things that are going on. Since the program has started, I have worked with several organizations over the years, partnered with several organizations over the years. We get referrals from all different sources. Like I said, I serve girls from all walks of life, so that you don't necessarily have to have. It's not about color. It's not about religion. It's not about your personal beliefs. I serve all girls from all walks of life. Referral sources can come anywhere from churches, schools, resource officers. We have I always have to look at my notes, the communities, the juvenile court systems, other organizations, the police department, and parents. Parents are a very strong referral source for me as well. And I'm really excited about that because, it's so important with Building a Better You, not just for Building a Better You, but for other programs as well, that parents are supportive, that they are just as active and involved in the programming that the young people are participating in. And that was one of the things that I really prided myself over the years, aside from having these personal relationships with some of these young ladies that I have had the pleasure and been blessed to be able to work with. But I've also established some wonderful rapport and relationships with some of the parents, all of the parents, I would say. I always, they know that they can always reach out to me if they need me. And I always feel like they've been an awesome support system for me. So it really does my heart good to know, again, that there are parents that are supportive of the Building a Better You program, that can speak of the program as well. And that's really what, today is just really, I'm filled right now, y'all. So please forgive me if I even get a little emotional, please forgive me. But I definitely am really super excited about the guests that I'll have today in the yard. So I'm going to stop right there for just a moment because I feel like I said a mouthful, but I wanted to also take a step back again for those new viewers that are joining me for today. So again, Building a Better You, My Journey to Building a Better You is a podcast for these type of discussions, these strong and relevant conversations and discussions. And a lot of this is what we get in the program, but God has blessed me to be able to have this platform. So throughout this show, this podcast time, I have different segments, and the segments can range anywhere from Follow Your Dreams. That's an entrepreneur segment. That's where I highlight an entrepreneur in the community, or either someone that has their own business that works for, someone perhaps maybe desiring to have their own business or trying to figure out how to start their own business. So Follow Your Dreams is one of the segments, and that's where I feature an entrepreneur, and that entrepreneur can be young, old, male, female. It doesn't matter. If you're in business, trying to start a business, I'm all for it. I'm all in support of it, as a businesswoman as well. Then I also have the Walking Your Authority. I kind of jumped to the end. Walking Your Authority. Walking Your Authority is basically, and again, I shared with you that I lost my mom back in 2017. She was a pastor, 30 plus years, AME. And one of the things she used to always say to me as I was coming up was that, Sharon, you need to know your authority. You need to know your authority. You need to walk in your authority. And I never really understood it fully until she passed on. So I get it now, Ma. I totally get it. She's going on, but I know her spirit is ever present. And so the Walk in Your Authority is another segment that I have. And I will always use biblical principles when I have that segment. And that ties into the Ask Sharon. I do get emails, y'all. People that will email me and say something, ask me something, comment about the show, or either ask me a question that they would like for me to answer, or even come on the show and answer it. So I'll try to even tie in the answer and the response, always using those biblical principles, because I believe that's just the foundation of life, especially as a believer. that you have some sort of biblical sound doctrine that will be able to guide you, kind of contribute to your moral compass, if you would. And then I have the let's see, Ask Sharon, Follow Your Dreams. What's popping? Yeah, what's popping? That's a segment where I will bring on, whether they're a young lady that have gone through the program or not, mostly go through the program, have gone through the program, and they will come in and tell us about what's popping. What's popping is like a colloquial term for what's trending, if you would. And that segment will enable the person that facilitates that segment to talk about what's going on in the community. It can be style, or what's going on today, let me say. It could be style, it can be fashion. It can be what's going on in the news. It can be food, it can be restaurants. There's just a wide range of topics that can be covered during the What's Popping segment. So today, and I have a What's Popping correspondent. So I'm really excited about that. But I have actually a little extra that I'm going to do with the What's Popping, because there's something that actually was weighing real heavy on me like the last 24 hours. And I'll get more in detail when it comes time for that segment. So I'm going to actually contribute a little bit to the What's Popping. And I have my correspondent that's going to join. I'm going to let you just be surprised when she joins so you can see who that is as well. And then I always will have like a special guest. I'll try to have a special guest when I come into the yard. And I say yard, y'all, Sharon DeCosta's in the yard. So I have a guest with me in the yard today. And hopefully you've seen last weekend's show, y'all, because last weekend I actually celebrated Father's Day, and I brought some special guests into the yard with me. And they, if you have to check out the video for yourself, I don't want to talk about it because it was just an amazing show. And I got wonderful responses, feedback from that show as well. So today, y'all, I have in the yard with me. So I say all of that to bring it back around full circle. So today I have in the yard with me a special guest who was really dear to my heart. And she's actually a parent. I'm not going to tell you what parent just yet. I'm going to just take a quick promo break, and I'm going to come back and you'll see who's the parent that's joining Miss Sharon DeCosta in the yard. Y'all, bringing her in with me today. And so we're going to have a wonderful discussion, and I know you'll be blessed. So you have to stick and stay. I'm only going to step away for just a moment, not even step away. I'm just going to take a quick break. And when I return, I will be joined by my special guest, one of the parents of the young lady that have gone through the program, one of the young girls, now a woman, that have gone through the program. So you have to stick and stay. Sharon DeCosta is in the yard, y'all. So you have to subscribe, you have to like, you have to share, you have to tell a friend. Hold up. I'm not going to be here long. Sharon DeCosta is in the yard, y'all. I will be right back with you. Stick and stay. You're in for a treat. Hi, y'all. Hello. Welcome back. This is Sharon DeCoster. I am in the yard, y'all, and you are in for a treat. So hopefully you got settled. Oh, yes, hopefully you got settled. Now, as I mentioned before I took that quick promo break, I have a special guest that will be joining me in the yard today. And again, she's very dear to my heart. I mentioned to you that she is a parent. I do want to say, it's really funny because, a lot of what I say or I have said to the young ladies over the years, the girls over the years, is a lot of what parents say to their children as well. It's just sometimes when it comes from someone different, it does tend to stick and stay. Or even when either when they come home and they say, well, Mom, Miss Sharon said, and the parents probably looking at them like, nah, I know I told you that. I said the same exact thing. But again, because it comes from someone different, that happens to be either a mentor or just whoever you or parent may have in their tribe and their village to help support and bring up a child. Again, it just tends to just stick a little bit different or received a little bit different, shall I say. So I'm so thankful because God has used me as a vessel. I feel like I'm a surrogate to many. And it's just, again, I'm real full right now, y'all. So, my next guest and my first guest in the yard, not including the what's popping, but my first guest in the yard for today is actually a parent of a young lady that has gone through the program. And I say young lady, I feel so weird saying young lady. She's grown now, y'all. She's in college and she's doing big things. She's in real estate and, natural hair care and fashion designer. She's a Renaissance woman, if you would, a young woman building her empire at a young age, if you would. And so she is my guest is the mother of this young lady that I'm referring to, this young girl that now is a young lady off in college, but she is the parent too. Her name is Hope McCoy. She's a licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor who earned her Master of Arts degree from Liberty University and Bachelor's of Science degree from Mount Olive College. I'm going to let her talk more in detail about her services, but I do want to just read her mantra or her goal, one of her goals, if you would. Hope's goal is to provide clients with a sense of hope in order to regain control and live healthy and manageable lives. So y'all, I say no more. Again, I'm going to let her say the rest. Please help me welcome. Okay. Please help me welcome Hope McCoy to the yard, y'all. Give it up for Hope McCoy. Hey. Hi, Hope. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. No complaints. I'm blessed.
Right. That's it, right? No need to complaining, right? Who wants to hear complaints, right, Hope?
That's right.
Y'all, so this is Hope McCoy. Again, she is the parent of, and I haven't said her name so far. Maybe I did, but I'm going to just kind of let her know. I didn't say, okay, so Hope is the parent of Olivia Balbona. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she is, again, Hope, Olivia's been with Miss Sharon, myself, since she was, 10 or 11, Hope?
10.
So, 10 years old, right? That's a long time, right? How old is Olivia now?
20.
She's 20. Oh my gosh. So 10 years, right? That's a long time. So I've been blessed and fortunate to see her grow along with you. And, I want to just start out and say, I just have to say this. I think I say this every time I have the microphone to say it, but I will say it so that everyone can really, truly feel my heart and my words. I hope I'm so thankful to you. I thank you for allowing, for allowing me to be a part of your daughter's life. It means so much to me, more than you probably could even really imagine. I remember when you came to Northgate Mall, right?
That's where you started. Yeah,
that's where we started at, right? And that was the first time of us meeting. I used to be housed in Northgate Mall in Durham, and God blessed me with a beautiful retail space to be present, on the forefront at the top, because I was looking to go somewhere at the bottom. He said, no, let me bring you to the top, and they came in one day, and she came in the room with her daughter Olivia, and I could tell she was, first off, Hope, Olivia is her only daughter. right? Her only child, right?
Yes.
So, of course, in that position, I'm sure very protective, rightfully so,
Absolutely.
and so she trusts me enough. She was open enough to allow me to just be a part of her life, to pour into her whatever I had in me at that present time. And so it really means a lot, Hope. And I just want you to know that I'm so thankful to you. I'm going to always, and again, y'all, I might get teary-eyed, so if I go real quick to a break, you're like, oh gosh, she's over there crying. But it really means a lot to me, because I don't take any of this for granted. And so you didn't have to, it means a lot when a parent is receptive to, and it is important. I'm sure you'll speak to this in just a moment, but it is important that parents are a part of the things that are of interest to their young people, to their children, if you would. And Olivia's interest at the time was fashion. Right. If I remember, modeling, right? And she loves fashion. She wanted to get into modeling to some degree. And so I offered that component at the time. And so she came in, but not that was the entry point. But in having her come in, I was able to just, like I said, pour into her over the years. So thank you so much. I just have to say that to you. Thank you so much. Take it for granted. I just want you to know that I love y'all dearly. I'm so proud of Olivia, and just thank you. So I just had to say that initially. That's my my few words on the top, But Hope. So I introduced you as a licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and really what does all of that entail?
So on a day-to-day basis, well, first let me say thank you for being here. And we are certainly honored to have you a part of our life as well. And I'm sure we'll get into how that came about later. But as far as being a therapist, is a licensed mental health therapist, where on a day-to-day basis, I assist clients, families, couples, men and women with challenges that they face in their life. And oftentimes the challenges that they face could result in depression, anxiety, stress, anger, marital or relationship issues that tends to come up often, and particularly during this pandemic, that has certainly shed some light on some issues in families. I also have worked with children at one point in my career as well, and that certainly is a specialty. So it's just one of those situations where life happens. And we got to be willing to navigate those areas that feel uncomfortable, even though we know that they're there. And sometimes culturally or spiritually or religiously, we've been told not to deal with certain things or stay away or pray away from it. But with me as a therapist, my thing is to go way below the surface and to be able to deal with some things so that we can feel like we're in control and have manageable, healthier lives. To empower people that you can recover from mental health issues, but you got to do the work. And so I provide tools and strategies for people to be able to do that, whether that's at home, in their work, in the workforce, with friends, family, church, etc.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. So Hope, with that being said, what do you see as one of the biggest obstacles young people experience, especially today? Mental health has become more acceptable to talk about today, right? But there was a time when, people they would be embarrassed, or they would, either just keep it to themselves. But what do you see as one of the obstacles that young people face in being able to come in and say, hey, I need some help?
So yes, while mental health and life challenges, this generation, they are more verbal than past generations. I don't know if they're born that way or what is it, but they're a lot more verbal. I think the challenge for them is that the older generation has not learned how to accept and embrace their boldness, and therefore it gets shut down.
Okay.
So we don't realize as the older generation that we need to learn from them. And therefore we have a lot of wisdom.
Right.
Now, the younger generation, they may be smart, but they may not be as wise. But that's where we as the older generation need to be able to put down our traditions and be willing to hear them out and what they're saying, and not always how they're saying it. Because again, they're young, they're learning how to deal with their emotions, learning how to communicate their feelings. And if they haven't been taught, they don't know how to do that. So it may come off disrespectful. It may sound kind of, just off. But if we can put that down to the side and really listen to their heart, then maybe there can be a better connection between the generations, and that the younger people are not resorting to behaviors that are more harmful to them.
Right. Very good.
Not that they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes they're not giving us a safer platform to talk about it, because this generation, they're verbal.
Right. You're right. Absolutely. And, to add to your response, I think a lot of times people are embarrassed, or either people think that they're going through something by themselves. My mom used to say, you don't ever, when you're going through something, you have to talk to somebody. You can't just keep it to yourself, because when you isolate yourself, a lot of times, that's when the devil can kind of get in your head and make you, or try to taunt you and make you feel like, hey, I'm dealing with this by myself, or I'm the only one dealing with this. And so to your point, this generation definitely has a stronger voice. It's just giving them the platform to speak. Definitely.
Right. And that's why I believe the two generations can really learn from each other instead of butting heads so much. Because at the same time, the younger generation also have to adhere to the wisdom of the older generation.
Right. Absolutely.
They do say something. So it's just one of those things of being willing to change and to be willing to be taught.
Right. Very good. Very good. Now, I believe, am I correct in saying that you specialize in young adults, not so much teenagers, correct? Or do you have that?
Currently.
Okay.
I have worked with teenagers. When I do teenagers now, if I get a referral, I will work with it, because I just want to honor the respect for the referral.
Right.
But I have to bring in the parent as well eventually, because you get to go home to each other.
Right.
So they're not grown yet. They're not fully developed. The frontal lobe is not fully developed. And so the parent and the teenager have to work together and navigate the current situation. So it's not always about what Ms. Hope have said, and parents have used my name to discipline their kid. Like,
right.
I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
It's about how can working with both the parent and the child, so that their home life could be better.
Right. Very good. Good point, Hope. And I think that's where sometimes there's that disconnect, because you have people that will enroll their child in a program to try to help the child, but then they may go back home to brokenness, or may go back home to dysfunction. And so it does help, to your point, though you, like you said, you at this point may be dealing with a child, it is important to bring that parent in and say, hey, what are the issues here, or these are the issues of the concern that maybe the child couldn't articulate themselves. And so they have this dialogue. Right.
Yeah. So, and I would challenge the parent that when something comes up for you and hit a nerve, to be okay and be willing to seek the help for yourself. Because if you're healthy and whole, your child will more than likely, hopefully, gain some of that too that you're coming from.
Right.
But sometimes parents stop service because something is being said and they're triggered. Versus, no, I got some stuff I need to work out as well.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you.
So that way, it's about the whole family,
the whole dynamic. That's right. Right.
Yeah, because what I teach in therapy, I teach assertiveness with my clients.
Say that again. You said you teach
assertiveness.
Okay.
Being vocal, expressing identifying your feelings, and being able to respectfully, because I think that's where the breakdown is, the respectfully express. But they're kids. You don't come out there just like a baby doesn't just stand up and walk.
Right. Right.
It's falling down. So when they take what Miss Hope says in the therapy room and apply it, and the parent is, I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Then what does that say about what Miss Hope has taught me about my feelings?
It's a wall. So hey, it's like wasted air, wasted breath at that point, because to your point.
So it's important to work with the whole family for me.
Right.
When I'm working with a teenager.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. Now, what are some of your fears, right? As a mother, what are your fears, your concerns for your daughter, for Olivia, as she continues to grow in today's society?
My fear is, or a couple of them has been one. Now, I'm one for self-evaluation first. Am I giving her the best of life? Am I connecting her with the best resources? Is she picking up some of my bad habits? What is she going to be like? Is she going to be safe? So my concerns, even as a therapist, is just like everybody else's concerns. But I also have to start with my own honesty to her, and I've told her over and over. There's some things I ain't going to tell you.
Right.
Some things I ain't going to be able to teach you.
Right.
But I can help connect her with resources and people that can help guide her, starting when she was 10. Because there's some things about me that I don't want her to do.
Right.
So I have to come to terms and be honest with myself. The things that I'm seeing with her, that's me.
Right. Right. Right.
And so I have to do that work. So one of my biggest fears is if I'm instilling some negative thing. And just being honest, the biggest fear is this social media and the thing of comparison that comes from all these social media platforms and the messages that are either explicit or implicit that comes from social media. So I think young people can get caught up in the look and what's showing up on the screen.
Right.
And start comparing themselves.
Right.
And then questioning their own esteem and their own abilities. And then if there's issues with neglect, then they may connect with somebody online who is putting things in their ears and showing them that. And then you have a problem if they're planning on meeting them. So that is a huge fear. Is having access, even though it's good and something we need, but the access to the world is scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point, social media is a beast, and it's unfortunately that it's not handled responsibly. I mean, it may have been designed for the purpose. Was designed for purposes of networking, if you would. But in everything good, there's always something bad that will try to infiltrate, to make it, evil, or to try to take it and spin it and make it something more. And that's the reason why it's important that our young people have their self-esteem built up, especially at a young age, as young as 10 and, and younger, of course.
Absolutely.
That way that, when they come up against these different pressures of life, they can remember that their beauty and their confidence and their ability to do is not based off of somebody that's posted a picture of some doctored photo that makes them look like they're a size 0 with, hair, going down their back, and, all these different superficial characteristics that we see are taking place with social media, and even in the magazines and some of the reality shows. I mean, these are all platforms that are guilty of contributing to a negative, self-image of our young people. Right. So with that definitely being said, then tell us, what were some of the challenges that you may have been experiencing, or what was maybe going on at the time of Olivia coming to Building a Better You?
So I will say that when Olivia first went to daycare, I put her in a predominantly white daycare.
Okay.
So that was in our area, and I liked it. They told her it was clean. I could smell bleach at the door, so I'm like, okay. But Olivia immediately had a complex with her skin color and her hair.
Okay.
And the little white children in the classroom, they didn't recognize a black child either. They put their finger on her skin, but she would not play with black children.
Okay. Okay.
She wouldn't call nobody black. She wouldn't
Mhm.
play with nobody black.
Mhm.
So I need to surround her and put her in a more diverse group. If nothing else, at the beginning of her not awareness, put her around her own people. And so
Mhm.
that's what I had to do in order for her to be not just what she got from home with her family, but
Right.
what she needed in amongst her peers.
Right.
So I had
Right.
to put her in the right environment. And
Mhm.
so so fast forward to when we came into the program, I was 2 years from being separated from Olivia's dad.
Okay.
And I knew I needed a village.
Mhm.
I needed a village outside of her family
Right.
and me, her dad, who was
Right.
involved too. Um, and so I put her in program. We went
Mhm.
to free stuff. We went to, and it costs money. Some things cost money. Some things, certainly time.
Right.
And some things were free.
Right.
But I connected her with programs in order for to make up my village. Village just wasn't grandma and auntie and her first cousin, her second cousins, and it was community resources, because that is the way of the world. And so we as parents have to be willing to allow somebody in those spaces to teach your child, for you, Ms. Sharon, to teach Olivia, to say to Olivia, no, that ain't how it go. Or to encourage her to speak let her voice be heard, to talk directly about her hygiene and her confidence and how to be a leader and be comfortable with herself. We have to be able to trust. Now you do your research and allow other people into your child's life to help with their development, so that when they do get out into the real world, they are able to communicate, they are able to take constructive criticism, they are able to interact, and that sharpens their skills as well. So at the time that we came into the program, we were going through a transition. And that is Olivia and my, I don't know what to call it, but we are all about transition. And I taught her at a very young age that change is constant, and we got to deal with it, and we got to keep going. We deal with it, whatever changes, whatever emotions that come up with that. But we also got to keep going. And so that's what we were going through at that time. I was going through my own stuff, trying to develop myself as a career person, business person, trying to stay connected with friends as well. So she was developing, I got to develop, and I can't be 100% of the time. So bringing you into our life was a piece of that, a piece of the village, a resource in the community to help me develop this young woman.
Right.
Again, like I said at the beginning, I don't have it all, and she can get it all from me.
Right. Very good. Thank you for saying that. Now, and that's so important. That's so important, y'all. I mean, because again, you think about it, Hope, Olivia's her child, and like she said, she was going through a transition of life, but she recognized she was strong and confident enough within herself to recognize that, hey, I need some additional support to help my daughter get to where she needs to be in life. Not the end all be all, but just another, like you said, another piece of the puzzle, another person that can just pour into, that will help enhance the village that's already there, and so it does start with yourself. And I think again, where there sometimes are those misconnects, is that a lot of times, and it's unfortunate, I have worked with quite a few girls over the years, and sometimes these parents are in denial. They're in denial about the help that their child needs. They're in denial about some of the challenges that they're dealing with. And instead of seeking the help and the resources that are necessary to build a strong foundation, they would rather not talk about it, and it's doing a disservice, and then you wonder sometimes why young people either withdraw, or they stop talking, or they start acting out. You're trying to figure out, why is my child doing this? Well, okay, you have to stop. A lot of times a child will display what they're feeling, not verbally, but by actions. So when you find your child doing something that's out of character, as your sweet child to be, your baby girl, your baby boy to be, then, sometimes we have to just stop and say, hey, what's going on here? And not wear those blinders. I know as women, we tend to blinders on and see what we want to see, not just for our children and bringing up children, but even in relationships. Sometimes we can get caught up in just seeing and wanting to believe what we want to believe about the people we love and we care for. But in all, to be fair and to be fair to yourself and to your child or that other person, take those blinders off. Take the time to stop and seek those resources that are out there. So definitely. So now Olivia's 20. Started when she was 10. We've done, plenty of photo shoots and runways and, programming and so forth. Olivia is actually one of the girls, really my main girl that I would bring with me when I would do I got contracted before COVID for about 4 years straight for the Dress for Success. And Olivia is like my main girl. She's like one of my favorite girls. She's a young lady now. I feel funny saying girl, but I would call on her. I said, Olivia, do you want to come and be my model for the Dress for Success? And I would ask Hope first. I always would try to go across, do it, proper, the correct way. Hope, how do you feel about X, Y, and Z? And she was like, oh yeah, Olivia's not gonna miss no runway opportunity now. Like she was just
I know camera.
And she would show up, she would show up. And I can always tell, and having worked with her, I could tell when she may not be feeling her best, but she would always just still come in and she'd be like, I'm here, Miss Sharon. I got you, Miss Sharon, and she'd get up there and pose and do her thing or what have you. And I appreciate that. And just to see her grow from that shy, quiet, little girl at the age of 10, with the big eyes and the pretty smile, she was just innocent, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
very innocent
child, and so to see her at that stage, and now here we are 10 years later, again, she's doing some amazing things. So now over the years, Hope, what would you say are some of the things that you have witnessed change-wise from day one of Olivia participating in the Building a Better You program up until now, as now she is a college student?
Olivia is very much comfortable in her own skin.
Absolutely.
Very much comfortable in her own skin. I remember one time she was telling me about something at school. Kids can be cruel, or something was happening. Somebody said something about, and Liv was quiet because she didn't know a lot about what's going on. And somebody then got into looks and stuff. And Liv was like, oh, well, that ain't me. I may not do this, but I do know that's not me. And so very much comfortable in her own skin and speaking up, not just for her, but Liv will speak up for other people too. She kind of gotta, she gotta gauge that and fine tune that some. But very much comfortable in her own skin. She's also resourceful. She loves to get involved in activities in the community, at school. That has been her thing, is to connect with different opportunities that are around her. She doesn't have a problem doing that. She's a worker bee. She believes in hard work and getting making the dollar. She works hard. She understands the importance of developing herself to have a career. And she dreams. She has goals, and she writes about it. She talks about it. And I believe that because of this program that has been instilled in her, she takes care of herself. She always have. I mean, as a single parent, it's time. Look, you gotta contribute. You gotta be involved in the care of the home and your stuff too. I mean, I laid that in from the beginning, because at the end of the day, she's going to be grown. So I had to prepare her for that. And so far, she's doing a pretty good job. And I'm not afraid that she won't do well in this world because of programs like Building a Better You. And that comes in with the things that was instilled with her, and what your program aligned with my values and morals as well. And so that's why I think it's important that we're not just throwing our children to the wolves. And I hate to say that, so I wish I could take that back. But we're not throwing our children just out there when there's no structure. Like, it's a babysitting service. Like, no. What are you going to instill? Because they're going to learn something no matter where they are. They're going to learn something. So we want to be mindful of that. And she absorbed everything that this Building a Better You was putting out there for a lot of the girls. So everything about that program I see in her, and she's quite confident. For a 20-year-old she's learning though.
Right.
Again, she's not fully developed.
Right.
Olivia is perfect. She still got some grooming to do and throughout the course, but she's on the right path.
That's right. That's
the
right.
confidence in her and her willingness to hear what other people have to say and how to apply that to her life comes from programs like Building a Better You.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let me add to that now, because you said she's a worker bee, right? Y'all, let me tell you, Olivia gets it. She goes in, and I'm impressed in that sense, because there are not a lot of young people that are driven like that have that motivation. Again, Building a Better You is just one vessel, but to your point, Hope, that a lot of it has to start at home. But then let me add to that, because there are some that may not have that at home to offer them those skills, that development. So what do you do in those scenarios? I always am going to bring Christ into this conversation, but God does say, even when our mothers and fathers forsake us, or even when they're not present, that he will be a father, he will keep and protect us. But I do think that for those that even children that are in foster care, or those that may again not have maybe a parent has deceased or gone on, or maybe someone's living with their grandparent, or under a different care, if you would, it's important that adults seek out resources such as Building a Better You and some of these other programs that are out there to help them, so that they're better equipped to handle life. And to your point, Hope, like you said, Olivia still has growing to do, but she has seeds implanted in her at a young age that will enable her to carry on. So, never make that excuse for viewers that have parents that may even be, again, fostering or caring for. There are a lot of resources out there. There are free programs. There's some programs that have a small fee associated with it. And let me just say this, because I struggled with this when I first started Building a Better You, because when I started the program, it wasn't designed as a nonprofit organization, not because I was trying to do anything other than just, all I wanted to do was the program. I didn't care about, money. I didn't care about if you paid me. I just was walking in the gift that God had given to me. And what I do remember is that I had like a minimal fee, like it was like it was $25 a session or something like that when I first started. And of course, there's sessions that go on, but I always believed, I was a firm believer of this, and I learned this from my old director, that sometimes when you have free programs are good, but when you can have maybe a small investment that the parent actually puts in as well, the parent then becomes just as vested as the child.
Absolutely.
And again, it's not about the dollar, especially if a person's offering something that's
it's an investment.
An investment. There you go.
And I want to say that to your point, because this is with therapy as well. Okay. We have to invest in your child.
Right.
You have to invest in yourself.
Right.
And yes, right. I've been in the welfare line. I had some product for that. I've been without jobs. So I understand financial crisis. I do.
Right.
But I also I got time to volunteer. Let me do something with the program.
Right.
Let me volunteer at the school. Let me go on the field trip.
Right.
Do that.
Right.
Something that can be done if finances is an issue. Whatever your resources are, be willing to utilize that. Teach
and
our
there are resources out there. And there are resources out there that will pay for a program as well.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of girls that came through the program that had services. They had services for their well-being, and they had assigned counselors that would get that money and make sure that this child was able to get in, if that was dance, if it was modeling, if it was, drawing or STEM or whatever that program is. And I have to now piggyback a little bit more for your comment. People invest in what they want to invest in. You have people that are now, like I see young women, that are getting implants and injections and all of this stuff to try to edify and beautify themselves. And then they have a child that may be struggling in certain areas. Well, there's an imbalance. If the mama's fly, the mama's stepping out fly and, fabulous. And then the child is struggling in school, or the child is promiscuous, or the child, their daughter is fighting, every other day. You can't wear those blinders, ladies, parents. We got to take them off and just see things for what it is, and address it as it comes up.
Yeah, I think oftentimes where we get lost at is we want to see our children on stage and under the
Mhm.
spotlight,
Mhm.
and they're willing to invest in that kind of thing because they can get to go play basketball, and so we can see them do that thing, or we get to go with traveling teams,
Mhm.
or they get to sing. Versus these types of programs, building a better you, and this is why it aligned with me
Mhm.
because this is the work from the inside out.
There you go. Thank you for
From
saying
the
that.
inside out. I don't care if you can put them on the front stage and they can be the best basketball player, but if they are terrible within and they don't have confidence within, if they are not strong within, anything can come along and they crumble
That's it.
because the inside out is not firm and strong and developed.
That's it.
So
That's it.
investment is
Mhm.
investment, meaning inside
Investment.
out,
There you go. Thank you for
not
saying
yes,
that. Thank you
yes.
for saying that. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Hope. That just kind of sums it, because again, a lot of it, just we live in a world that is so superficial, so caught up in just like the outward appearance. And that's really what the program is. I know every young person, every woman, every person has to wear clothes, has to dress to some, whether you're going to work or, social, personal, wedding, funeral, wherever you're going to. And so, and there's a lot of skillful, smart, bright young people out there. We're not suggesting, that there aren't, people out there, young people that are smart and can't do, but a lot of them have these skill sets, like to your point, basketball or tennis and all these other, talents and giftings, if you would, but they don't have the confidence to apply. They don't have a voice. They don't make great communication skills. They submit to peer pressure. They're dressing their body inappropriately. They're allowing someone else to define who they are. And like I would tell the girls, I always say this is one of the topics during the All About Me workshop series. You have to be clear on what your values are, the things that are important to you, because a lot of times where a lot of our young people get so caught up and mixed up with the wrong crowd, if you would, is because they're not clear on their value system, on the things that are important to them. So when you build them up at the core, their
At the
inward
core.
beauty, it will outwardly show eventually. It can't do anything but show, because
Right.
the inside will be so strong and so confident, it's going to override. You ever seen or heard, like, where you see or hear, like, or see a nice looking person, like a nice looking or maybe I don't know if I just gave that example. I'm gonna give this
Go ahead.
but it might be like a man and a woman, and the man, he's nice looking, but it's kind of like, okay, and then you're like, how did he get her, or how did she get him? you know Again, not getting caught up in the outward, but that's a perfect example of someone whose their inner beauty, their inner strength has overridden the
Every
aesthetic,
time.
and
Every
it just
time.
overrides. And so that was really what got me going with Building a Better You. When I used to go out to those schools and I used to see how those young people they would hover at this table. They would come in like, I want to model, I want to act, I want to model, I want to act. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then I started really paying, like, it was like God just took my blinders off and said, Sharon, hold on. Because I was seeing a lot of them that were they wanted it, but they had bad attitudes. They were, body posture was wrong, leaning, slouching, cussing out, parents and talking back to the teacher, and it was like, no, you can't be fly on the outside and your inside is not together. You don't have self-love, you don't have self-respect. And so that's a
Absolutely.
lot of what Building a Better You does. It builds up that core, that inner beauty, so that and it's not an overnight, it's not a fix me up overnight type of
Even
thing.
into adulthood is not overnight.
Say it again.
Even into adulthood is not overnight.
It's not.
We are evolving as human beings, because even though we may have been one way in our 20s, regardless of our programs, I'm sure she lives in her 20s, and the results of these programs is showing up. When she turns my age at 45, she's going to go through something else that she's going to have to learn. So we have to always be willing to deal with the inner person.
There you go.
Always be willing to do that.
Very good. Thank you so much. Y'all, this is a good discussion. I'm being blessed. I know you are. You have to be. You can't help but be blessed during this discussion. This is a live parent. This is a real parent that has put her daughter in the Building a Better You program. And not only did she put her daughter in the program, she herself, Hope, is a I gotta say it right, licensed clinical mental health counselor, but she was smart enough and confident enough within herself to say, hey, I need some additional resources to help my daughter put her best forward. And that's really what it's all about, y'all. This is not about take credit for anything more than just building up our young people so that they're putting their best forward, that they are knowing who they are in Christ, knowing who they are, period, and then being able to make wise decisions, because it is make today will ultimately affect our future. So it's important that they have the confidence that they need to move forward. We're going to take just a quick break. We're going to come right back, and we're going to have maybe one or two more questions for Hope. But I know you've been blessed. You have to stick and stay and stick, because we are in the yard, y'all. Sharon DeCosta has a guest, Miss Hope McCoy is with me, y'all. So stay tuned. We have a few more words for you on this segment. Thank you again. Stay tuned. Hey, we are back. Yes, Sharon DeCosta and Hope McCoy is in the yard, y'all. I know you've been blessed, because I have. It's been a wonderful segment. I enjoyed talking with you, Hope. Hope, as we kind of wrap on this portion of the show, what words would you personally like to say to parents that may be watching and may be seeking a program for their daughter, their niece, their cousin, their auntie's child? What words would you like to say?
I would like to say to be okay with exposing your child or children to things that maybe you were not exposed to. And that is no reflection of you, is no reflection of your parents and their parents before. We all come from all different walks of life. But we got to be willing and open and flexible and to raise the next generation. Our children will not be with us forever, and maybe hopefully they'll grow and go, but we want to be able to present to the world their best self. And so we have to make investments. We have to be honest with self. And I'm not saying tell your children all your business, because they may not need to know, but do the work for yourself so that you can be willing to better help your child to be their best self. Because sometimes we can bleed our wounds into our children, and then therefore there's a generation after generation after generation. So be willing to see your own issues and get help for that, as well as to instill, if you don't have it within you, to allow other people, other community programs to invest and instill into your children, because we want them to be and do well. They're the next generation, and we want to do our best with giving the next generation their best.
Thank you for that. That was good. And Hope, what words would you like for viewers to know? What additional closeout words you would like for viewers to know about the services that you offer as a licensed clinical, medical, mental,
Counselor.
mental health counselor, please?
So listen, mental health, and I get it. When we think of mental health, we think extreme mental illnesses. And the majority there that is true. There is extreme mental illnesses out there. And we associate that with all of mental health. I personally deal with a lot of life struggles that has had an influence on our mental health, whether it's depression or anxiety, stress, or anger. And so when you come into the therapy room, you can have consultations with therapists to figure out who's a good match for you in order for you to get the help that you need. This is not about being crazy. This is not about stuffing your feelings. This is not about just praying things away, because that is a whole nother issue when it comes to the body of Christ and having to deal with things below the surface. And then we have to be, in order for us to be whole beings, we have to go below the surface and get the help that's needed, that's coming up in our lives. And while we may not talk about it, whether we've been told and trained not to talk about it, it shows up in our behavior. It shows up in our interactions with people. It shows up on the job. It shows up in relationships. It shows up in the church. It shows up within yourself, whether it be through physical. It shows up in our physical, because some of us are emotional eaters. It can show up on our skin. It can show up in hair loss. So it's really important to do the work and get the healing from the inside out. And that's what I do on a day-to-day basis, is really help people heal from the inside out by uncovering and peeling back the layers that has issues that have haunted them. And so we come into the therapy room. My number's on the banner there. And give me a call if you want to process any of this to figure out what's a good fit for you. And I'm willing to do that.
Very good. Thank you so much, Hope. That was good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to your point, I mean, there's a negative connotation that comes with mental health, but it doesn't make you weak to ask for help. We all need help from time to time, and it's
absolutely.
It's okay. And so Hope is here for that, y'all. She's here to share. She shared her experiences, some of her experiences. She shared her words of wisdom. She shared why she put her daughter in the program, what her daughter got out of the program, but she also shared her services as well. So for those that have need of counseling or not, she can probably,
consultation.
The number, as she stated, is coming across the screen at 919-368-8016 number. Definitely reach out to her. Hope is good people. And I say that, I'm not just saying it because she's here. Again, she's always been a supporter of Building a Better You. And it means a lot, because the program didn't come easy. It came with a lot of tears, a lot of sweat, hard work, long nights, empty pockets. Setbacks, people talking about you, all of this other stuff, laughing, oh, look at this, look at that. No, it came with a lot. And so when you get someone that can stick with you and can talk up, elevate what you're doing, it means a lot. And then when you have the proof of what you're doing with someone like Olivia and the many others, it just kind of makes it lets me know that it was all worth it. That whatever,
everything, all of it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah. So, thank you for being that mother. She was actually on my board. We did a lot of things with the board and kind of evolved over the years. So thank you. It means a lot. Hope. I just want to say it again, and thank you for being a wonderful parent to Olivia. Again, I work with so many girls, and I've seen different parent styles, and so you've been a true parent, a true mother. A mother's love at its best, And I have to go ahead and say this real quick. I could not get off this with you and me right here without saying this. And Hope has a beautiful, phenomenal mother herself.
Yes.
when I met your mother and sister, beautiful family indeed.
Yes.
Mom is like, hey, mom is all that and some, y'all. I I was impressed. I was like, okay, I see you. I see where it all trickles down. Now it's all making sense now,
Yes,
right?
she
So
is
yeah,
the
thank
queen
you for
bee.
having a beautiful family, and again for the
Thank
love
you.
and the support and the discipline. And remember, little girls grow up to be grown women, and these are grown women that go out into the world and they have their own families, and they
Mhm.
produce.
Mhm.
We're a reproduction system, our bodies
Mhm.
itself. So you want to make sure that we're producing strong women, confident women, godly women that can
That's
walk in
right.
the authority that they've been given. So thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Hope. It has been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Do you have anything else you want to say before I close you out?
To anybody, please invest in your child. Go through Building a Better You program. It will be the best, one of the best investments that you can make for your child.
I appreciate that, Hope. It means a lot. So, y'all, when I come back, we're going to go into the What's Poppin' segment. Yes, Sharon DeCosta was in the yard today, y'all, and I had a guest, Miss Hope McCoy. Check her out, y'all. Please reach out to her. I promise you, you will not be disappointed in doing so. All right.
All
So,
right.
thank you again, Hope. You have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend, and I look
You
forward to
too.
talking to you soon, okay?
All right.
God
Bye
bless.
bye.
Bye bye. Hey, y'all, I am back. Sharon DeCosta's in the yard, indeed. Did you enjoy that interview with the parent, Hope McCoy? Oh my gosh, I was blessed. She's an amazing lady. As you see, her information is still coming across the screen. So definitely, I just want to make sure I plug that one in there real quickly. Definitely make sure to check her out. I promise you, y'all, you will not regret reaching out to Hope McCoy. So thank you so much. As you heard, I've worked with her daughter over the years, 10 years, and she is now a college student at Hampton University. And I'll let her tell more about her accomplishments when she comes on. But this is our segment where we get into what's popping, y'all. A lot of things that's going on in the community, a lot of things that's happening in the news. And before I bring on my one of my core what's popping correspondents, I wanted to just touch on something just for a few minutes because, like I told you, there was some things that was really heavy on my heart, and I had to just get it off. And I had written it out. So please forgive me if it seems like I'm looking down, but I wanted to make sure I just covered everything. We did recently hear, and this is part of our what's popping segment, y'all. Okay. We did recently hear of the most recent verdict in sentencing of Derek Chauvin, the officer that was responsible for having his knee on the neck of George Floyd for 9 minutes or more, and the whole world actually watched this man scream helplessly, saying he couldn't breathe, screaming for his mama. Just the whole thing was visually before us, and we were able to see it with our own eyes. People had camera phones and they were recording, and it was just so heart-wrenching, and just like, oh my gosh, not only were we watching as people sitting at home or people that were actually bystanders standing by, but there were also also other officers that stood by and watched this happen. And yesterday he was given a sentence of 22 and a half years. And, people were actually, I was reading some of or watching some of the response and feedback from his sentencing, if you would. And there were a lot of people that were really disturbed for, let's see, they were disturbed because of, um, they were disturbed because of, I'm sorry, they were disturbed because he was basically, um, given this sentence, and then his mom came up. And again, please forgive me because I'm gonna get through my thoughts, okay? His mom came up and she had a few words to say. And I was like, oh my gosh. I guess people were disturbed because she didn't necessarily make any reference to the family. She didn't say, my condolences to the family. People were bothered that, she just kind of had just kind of like this, again, she was, I'm sure nervous and, hurt and everything else. But then you think about the families that lost a son, for good, that were also, hurt and nervous standing up. And, this was like her final plea, I guess, before the sentencing. And the part that really bothered me, and this is what I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit during this brief what's popping segment. The part that kind of rubbed me a little bit was when the mother stood up. And, she said, a few words, but one of the things she says, me, along with many other believers, believe that he is innocent. And I'm like, wow. So are you suggesting, the murdering of this man was okay? How can you call somebody innocent when we're seeing this with our own eyes? A man, with a needle on the neck of another person and taking the breath and life out of him. Really what's happened is that Derek Chauvin had played, God, which, he's not God. We know that, but he did it with such an arrogance. There was no remorse. It didn't really feel like any sort of remorse or any sort of sympathy or empathy for anything. And here she stood saying that she felt like her, along with others, believed that he was innocent. And I was like, wow, that's pretty deep. So regardless of this man laying on the ground, lifeless, in handcuffs, he was no threat, that she felt that he was innocent. Now, I know there are some parents that will, condone behaviors and overlook behaviors and, look the other way on behaviors, but there's no way you can sit here and say, hey, I believe this person is innocent, watching the things that we watched. And the first thing that came to mind, and I had to write this part down, so please forgive me. The first thing that came to mind was this mother, though mother, was in denial. Okay. The second thing that came to mind was a scripture in the Bible that says in Proverbs 29:17, discipline your son and your daughters, and he or she will give you rest. He or she will bring delight to your heart. That was like a scripture, and I had to write it down. And then the third thought that came to mind was likely this was a parent, like a lot of parents that are out there, definitely not like the parent that just left the yard, I can assure you, but like a lot of parents that are out there that condone behaviors that their children do, and give excuse or reasons why, or wear the blinders why, or fail to discipline when they know that their child is doing wrong, and I dare not say that, beating, spanking, I come from old school, where, you got discipline, you got discipline. Like I say it in my book, I didn't get that many belt beatings, if you would, over the years, but I was disciplined. I knew right from wrong, and that was based off of the things that my parents have taught me, or, the role models and the elders that were in my life that taught me right from wrong. And my thought was like really deep to think that this parent can sit here and say, knowing what we all seen, knowing the facts, even the history of, yes, he may have committed his life to the Minneapolis police force for 19 plus years, and he's done some other great things, but it does not negate the behavior that he displayed on the day that he actually put his knee on a man's neck, and we watched with our own eyes as a person's body went limpless, lifeless, if you would. And so that's the part that really bothered me, because I'm like, wow, there's a lot of parents out there. I work with young people whose parents condone. I've sat in juvenile court system courthouses and listened in on cases, and have parents that will get a referral for their child to participate in a program, and the parent will have attitude as if someone's did something to them. And I used to be like, wow, are you serious? How do you condone wrong behavior? I know parents that there are some parents that are scared of their child. There's some grandparents that are scared of their child, that they're left to raise, if you would. I know some parents that some parents that have cursed out teachers. I don't know if I told you, I'm also a substitute teacher. I'm in the substitute pool table, if you would, for a substitute pool for substitute teaching. I've been in schools and I've seen at times where a parent will come in ready to go off on a teacher, or, and try to, and again, not suggesting that always the adult is always right, but, always try to always give an explanation or reason or justification why their child does what they do, and fail to discipline them. I've seen kids curse out their parents. I've seen that with my own eyes, heard with my own ears. I'm like, wow, that's pretty deep. All of this, a lot of it, if not most, aside from maybe there may be some mental challenges going on, stems from not disciplining your children when they are young. And I dare not say what his upbringing was. I read a little bit of it. I'm sure there's more to the story. But for a mother to sit there and say, we believe your innocence, that would tell me and many others that this is a parent that has condoned wrong behavior, not just today, but from years ago. Because there's no way you can sit there and watch somebody do something wrong and you not, at least, even if you had that private or side conversation, you wouldn't come up on national TV and say, I believe you're innocent, when you know good and well that they're not. Parents, you cannot put yourself in a position where you're not disciplining your children, where you're trying to be friends with your child. That's what a lot of what's happening. A lot of parents are, and it may be more of younger parents, if you would, that want to try to have like this friendship with their child. God did not bless you with children for you to be a friend to your child. You may be able to establish that friendship, that relationship when they become an adult. But when they're young, you have to teach them right from wrong. You have to be able to make sure that they have a moral compass that stands on something solid. And you cannot wait till they become an adult to do so. I'd spoken to a parent a while ago, and I'll never forget this. And she said to me, her most challenging times when raising her children, right? This is a parent saying this to me, was when she was inconsistent with disciplining them. She said she either ignored their behavior, made excuses for their behavior, or justified their behavior. And again, I have worked with many young people, y'all, that have come from all walks of life. I've heard and sat in on meetings listening to. And this is a parent that had a couple of children at home, actually 3 or 4 children. And she says when she found herself to be inconsistent with the disciplining of her child or her children, that's when she found out that to be a very challenging time for her, because sometimes she would let them do things that she knows were wrong, but because they were whining or they were pouting or throwing a tantrum, she would give way and let them have their way. Parents, please know that active parenting should always be priority. Miss Hope, she just left the yard. She could speak to it as well. I'm certain of it, because the Bible tells us in Proverbs 22:6, raise a child up in the way he or she should go, and they will never depart. Now, they may make mistakes. They may go off the path. They may stumble along the way. But if those seeds and that discipline is done or instilled at a young age, they will have enough common sense to bring them back, to draw them back, and because in failing to do so, I have to say this, in failing to do so, y'all, in failing to parent and discipline your child, that what God has blessed and entrusted to you as a parent, you are positioning that child to either be judged by 12 or carried by 6. I'll say it again. To fail to discipline your child, to teach them right from wrong, and my mind just keeps playing over just her words. Again, she was, emotional, but there was no remorse. There was no, I'm sorry that this happened. Oh, she opened her mouth, and again, emotions are raging at this point, but she opened her mouth and said, me along with many others believe you're innocent. So there's, again, no justification in taking a person's life. And if you fail to discipline your children and teach them right from wrong when they're young adults, you are positioning and repositioning that child as an adult to be judged by 12 or carried by 6. So the choice is up to you, moms and dads out there. What are you going to do? And one of the things my mom used to say to me, another thing, one of many, because she used to say a lot, whose fault is it really? Whose fault is it really? Because when you fail to discipline and teach your child the right from wrong, to put them in programs, at a young age, and maybe, again, they may need more, help and support than, my program or someone else's program. But when you fail to address those issues at a young age and walk around with blinders, you are positioning your child to fail. You are positioning them to once again be judged by 12 or carried out by 6. And that was my thought, y'all. I just had to get it off. So, I said what I had to say. That's what's popping. One of the things that's what's popping. When I come back into the yard, I'm going to have Miss Olivia finish out the what's popping, because I always like to end on a positive note. That was a little too Debbie Downer to end. I wanted to really just get it off my chest, though, and I had to get my thoughts together. So forgive me as I was speaking. I was just kind of like, wow, let me think of how I was going to say this, So thank you for listening to me on this. Again, Sharon DeCosta's in the yard. When I return, Miss Olivia will be joining me to close out my What's Popping segment and let us know what's truly going on in the fashion community on this day. Stick and stay. Sharon DeCosta, y'all. She's in the yard. Hey, y'all, I am back. I got it off my chest. So thank you for listening to me at that time. Again, I just wanted to give my few words for what's popping. My heart, my prayers go out to the George Floyd family and the many people close to him, his family that have been affected. And really, the world has been impacted by what's happened, so God bless you. My family, my prayers are with you all. So we are closing out the show today, but not before I close out with one more special guest that will come into the yard and let us know what else is popping on this day. So please help me welcome to the yard Miss Olivia Balbona on this day. Hey!
Hi.
How are you doing? How you look beautiful?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. So tell us, what's popping, Olivia? What's going on?
So first, I'm going to start off with telling you all about the bold gold trend that's going on in summer 2021. And I say bold gold because not because it's a bright gold or a different type of gold, but because it's a lot of gold. So you see now I have on my thick, chunky gold earrings. My purse actually has a gold chain on it, gold necklaces, double strand necklace, gold bangles, and gold ankle bracelet from head to toe gold. So that's why I say gold, bold, bold gold, because you'll be seeing that a lot this summer. Just because silver is out of of season, and that's what girls are into right now. The second trend that I'll be going into are straps. So what you see right now, I have on straps. Is a very simple way to add to your wardrobe. You'll see this in clothes, dresses, and even shoes. So this one shoe that I have is a sandal, and it's actually a leather sandal, and it gives you a kind of gladiator approach when you wear your shoe. Is a square toe shoe. So that what kind of makes it different. And you'll be wrapping this around your leg until you have it goes up your calf, halfway up your calf. So that is another way of how you can do straps. Again, my crossbody is straps. So you'll be seeing straps everywhere this summer. My second shoe that I have to show you that I actually added to my list is this kitten heel. Usually we see stilettos from 2008, and throughout the year 2008 through 2021, the heel has become a lot shorter. And you'll see, just like now, this kitten heel is very in style. About a decade ago, girls would have not wanted to wear this shoe, but because of what is being paired with lately, like the clear strap, it's become a trend. And the last segment that I have for you today, that is what's popping, is the asymmetrical style. And I'm actually going to turn my screen down to show you all. So you can see here how my dress is asymmetrical, and it gives you this shape. Something added to this simple dress to bring the style, more personality to this simple pink rose dress. And that's what's popping today on summer 2021.
Nice. I love it, Olivia. Very nice. Yes. So now, first off, again, you look beautiful as always. Definitely. Olivia, so the wraparound, the slip-in wraparound, those are really cute because you can definitely, and the slip-in that you had, that you can definitely dress it up or dress it down, to your point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
A long time ago, I would not have chosen to wear this kitten heel, but it's actually very cute, very simple. And for those girls that don't know how to walk in heels, this could be your first step to working your way up into wearing those stilettos when they do come back in style.
Very nice, very nice. So that's more of like the because we're kind of like in a casual climate right now, right?
Right.
Coming out of COVID, right? So very nice. And then the double strand necklace, you said, I seen that in the gold. Yeah. So you see, it doesn't require all of the over the top to accessorize, right?
No, we say bold gold because you'll see not just one piece of jewelry that you have on, but from head to toe, there's gold. You'll see a lot of girls just getting their ear pierced because they want to wear multiple earrings just to have that look that you see today.
Very nice, Olivia. Olivia done put us on what's popping, what's trending. So I have to go and get me some kitten heels, especially after breaking my toe. It's coming along, but I think that the shoe is definitely a comfort heel. You know, to your point, you know, someone that's beginning to walk in heels to really have your comfort level, and that is a good shoe to start out with. Very good, Olivia. And then I love the asymmetrical dress because what kind of came to my mind even when you were spinning is that you can even wear like some jeggings or leggings, something fitted underneath it, depending on how high, right? On how high, you know, so it can be worn as a shirt, if you would, with something really fitted at the
jeans,
bottom, right?
leggings, jeggings.
Very good, very nice. And then you see she has the gold hoop earrings on as well. So those aren't too over the top as well. They're really simple. They're elegant. It, you know, accents her very nice. You know, accentuates her facial structure, bone structure. Very nice, Very
Thank
nice,
you.
Olivia.
Thank
Y'all,
you.
Olivia, you heard us bragging and talking about you already, but I can't
Yes.
get enough. I'm sure mom can't get enough as well. But Olivia, and I'm gonna let you tell it, Olivia. You are getting ready to go back to school this fall after being out
Yes.
for a full year with virtual learning. Tell the people, tell the viewers what's going on with you.
Yes. So I became a freshman at Hampton University in 2019, and I didn't get to finish my freshman year out because of COVID. We got sent home, and then we got finished our freshman year at home, and then actually we my whole sophomore year was at home. So I definitely got that virtual at home learning experience. And now I'm just going back in the fall and at the end of August to complete my last 2 years at Hampton University. And I'll be a junior. And right now, during quarantine, I took it upon myself to get my real estate license. And now I'm an active agent in the Raleigh Durham community. And so, yes, that's what I'm up to today.
Y'all heard that? Took it upon herself to pursue an alternative skill,
Yes.
another
Mhm.
stream of income, if you would, to position herself
Right.
so she can actually take that anywhere she goes. But I think that she, again, is to be commended as a young adult. 20 years of age is just not a common practice. We hear of it, but
Mhm.
it's not many that will take that extra step to do it, especially when they're not in school. I mean, you were in school, and you just took it upon yourself to just get that extra skill. Even though it was virtual learning, you still took it upon yourself to get that extra
Mhm.
skill. So Olivia's going to
Yes.
do well wherever she goes. No question.
Mhm.
No question.
Thank you.
And I wanted to mention something as well that I going back to the straps and the asymmetric as well.
Mhm.
What I like is that, as if you notice, y'all, she has a strappy dress on, but she has the appropriate undergarments on
Right.
underneath it as well.
That's
How
something that Miss Sharon told
important?
me a lot of. That
Say it
was a
again.
big thing growing up. Growing up in your program, that was a big thing that you emphasize on because you can look good on the outside, but what you wear underneath your clothes definitely determines how you others perceive you, even though you might not notice it. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely has an impact on what you wear underneath, and how straightening your clothes, how to maintain your clothes, take good care of them, and that's something that Miss Sharon definitely emphasized in her program.
I appreciate that, honey. I do. That's it. Because if you have on a beautiful gown or a beautiful outfit, but your undergarments are not intact, like you have on the wrong undergarment or wrong bra, wrong panties, where you're seeing panty lines, or small, too small, it will show and it will just take away, because that's where your focus will go to. So you pick the perfect undergarment for a beautiful strap, asymmetric style dress, and then
Mm-hmm.
I can even envision what that would look like with one of those two shoes that you shared. And
Right.
again, less is more. She has simple
Mm-hmm.
jewelry on that are beautiful, accentuating her features very nicely. So you did real good. Very nice,
Thank
Olivia.
you.
Very nice. Oh yeah. I said Olivia's gonna actually. I'm gonna find some property, and I'm gonna get Olivia to be my realtor. I told her mom
Mm-hmm.
that.
Come
So
to me.
yeah, I'm coming for you. Don't worry. Yeah, very nice. So y'all, that's what's popping. That's what's popping. I appreciate that, Olivia. Do you have anything you want to say before we close out this segment?
Yes, building a better you has definitely impacted the woman that I am today and the woman that I'm still becoming. Miss Sharon definitely has made a lifelong impact on my life. I think that any girl that is struggling right now or just looking to develop in some areas or just wants to have fun, or looking for that big sister mentor, or auntie mentor, Miss Sharon is definitely the person to go to.
Thank you. I'm gonna cry. Y'all gonna make me cry. I find myself getting emotional, so emotional in my older years,
Yes.
Olivia. But thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Y'all heard it first. Nothing being coaxed or told what to say. I just say, come on in and do what you do. Olivia loves fashion, so I love when she comes on and she does our fashion segments, especially for what's popping. So y'all will see more of Olivia, and I'm so proud
Yeah.
of you. I'm excited that of your next school year, junior, right?
Mhm.
Rising junior.
Yes.
That's exciting, Olivia. And so
Mhm.
she's doing some wonderful things over this summer, and I'm certain that you'll see more of her as well. And I cannot leave without saying that Olivia actually is the featured contributor to the Fashion My Way workbook. And
Yes.
y'all, if you haven't picked up that workbook, you have to pick it up because she is doing her thing in that workbook. They're beautiful images.
Thank you.
Yeah, she did her thing. You know, she wrote a nice. She had a nice information in the workbook, and then they have the images to go along with it. So
Mhm.
definitely check out the Fashion My Way workbook, and you can definitely get that on the website. So I'm going to actually put that up. I'm finally going to put my website information up there because I'm told, Sharon, you never put your information up there. So, but thank you so much, Olivia. You know, I love you, and I hope you have a
Thank
good
you. I love
weekend.
you.
And I'll see you soon. She looks beautiful, y'all. But doesn't she?
Thank
She
you.
looks beautiful. Olivia's in the yard, y'all, with Miss Sharon on this day. We'll be right back, y'all, and I'll finish this out for good. And thank you again for joining me, Olivia. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Love you, honey. Bye. Yes, y'all. Sharon DeCosta, she is in the yard, and that definitely does conclude our show today. I thank my special guest, for coming and joining me for just a moment in the yard, Miss um, Hope McCoy and Miss Olivia Balbona. Thank you so much. I love the family, y'all. I love them. They are my family. We are one. We are part of the tribe. So thank you again for blessing me, gracing me with your presence. Beautiful young women, indeed, indeed. So yes, it was a wonderful show. This was truly a parent's perspective. Definitely shared some things that was on my heart with the What's Popping segment, as it relates to the verdict of the killing of George Floyd. And again, these are all my views, no one else's views, no one else coaxed, it was just something that was heavy on me. And I just wanted to share it. And really that's what this platform is for. It's not about judging. It's about, again, empowering and informing, and observations are made, and everyone has a right to their own voice and their own opinion. So that's what I did. I took this platform, my journey to build a better you, to express my views. So again, my views, if you would. And then Miss Olivia closed us out with the what's trending, what's popping in fashion. And she has some wonderful pieces that she demonstrated for us as well. And again, isn't she beautiful, y'all? One of my favorite young ladies that have gone through the program. I'm super proud of her. Thank you again, Hope, for joining me. I always try to end out with just a word of walking in your authority. And I use the same scripture every time, and that's in Isaiah 54:17. There is a song, and the artist's name, I said I was going to jot down, I believe his last name is Johnson, but it's the song is titled "It's a Fixed Fight," if you would, because God reminds us in walking in the authority that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Matter of fact, he reminds us in Isaiah 54:16 that it is him, God, our God, big G, God that creates the blacksmith that forms the weapon that does exactly what it was intended to do. But God then reminds us in 54:17 that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And he even takes it a step further by saying, and every tongue that rises up against us, he will condemn. And that's what we've seen even in the case of, George Floyd, that there were voices that were trying to rise up and slander and take away from the fact that he was a man, a human being. But God said, not so. That's my child. Let me deal with it. So that's a perfect example of how God will fight the battles, even in spirit and in truth, even, living in the flesh and going on to glory, that he will always make sure that our reputation will stay in sync, regardless of what man says. So what all of that reminds me and gives me confidence in knowing that the battles that we come up against in life, the things that come up to actually sway us, to deter us, to discourage us, are all battles that are won already. It's a fixed fight, y'all. It's a fixed fight that we're fighting each and every day. But again, God promises no weapon that is formed against us. He didn't say that the weapon will not form, but he promised that it would never prosper. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, I can tell you that's just a beautiful thing, y'all. It's just a beautiful thing. So stay blessed, y'all. Have a wonderful week. Again, this is Sharon DeCoster. I am in the yard. I'm getting ready to check out now, y'all. So hopefully you enjoyed the show. Stick and stay with me. Subscribe, like, share. Tell a friend. Sharon DeCoster was in the yard, y'all. And as you can see, my information is coming across the screen. And you'll see the information from my life coaching website, if you will, because that's how you can actually get the books. And then again, you can order the books, the personal memoir, or any one of the workbooks on the website. And then the personal memoir you can order on Amazon.com as well. You'll see my contact information. I told y'all last week or the week before that I had a surprise for you, but I'm gonna wait to share the surprise. You're gonna be surprised when I announce it, because I think it'll be something that young people will be blessed by, parents will be blessed by. So you have to stay tuned. In order for you to even be up on it when I come in and I start talking about it is when you subscribe. So you got to subscribe, like, share, let a friend know, let a family member know. Sharon DeCoster was in the yard, y'all, and we had an amazing show indeed. So thank you so much for joining me. God bless you real good. I hope you have a wonderful week. And remember, y'all, we are in a fixed fight, and it has already been won. And once again, that is indeed a beautiful thing. God bless you real good. We'll see you the next time. And thank you again for joining me. Sharon DeCoster was in the yard. Thank you again. See you.